Hello. So you guys wanted to see some things to do first thing in the morning. We're trying to be good and trying to take our spiritual practices to the next level. And I promised I would show you. So I'm gonna do some things, or just like cover some things that I do. Some of my witchy friends might not think about this. They just think, oh yeah, this gonna do this, gonna do that, gonna do this, gonna do that. Check it all off the list, and that's fine. Cleansing, banishing, mantra work, whatever it is. Calling upon sacred plants and essential oils and different things in order to get us into a proper space to move through the rest of our day. Okay, I'm doing this real time in that I just got out of bed and I saw some comments and I was on my videos and I was like, all right, let's do it for real. So I haven't done anything except use the restroom and make a cup of tea. It is over here behind y'all. Some things that you might not think about to have on hand when you're gonna do any type of work or sit down in your sacred space. I have a box of Kleenex down here because I always have the things happening and things start clearing out first thing in the morning. I have some chapstick, because it's dry out here. If I'm suddenly just doing things and all of a sudden I'm distracted by my lips being terribly dry, then that's just gonna pull me out of whatever I'm doing. Um, I'm an eclectic person and an eclectic wizard, whatever you want to call it, practitioner. Uh, so I don't mind having things on my space that are really not supposed to be there. Like this isn't a lighter, a little butane lighter. Some people might not like doing that just because they like to keep everything perfect. You're gonna need to relight things. You're gonna need to light things. I don't care. So I make the lighter sacred. Just anoint it, whatever, that kind of thing. Um, so for this, I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll end up doing this and and liking it more. But I have my my conch shell here, which is for incense and stuff. Excuse me. I have some camphor in it, which is what I'm going to start with. Camphor is amazing. It's just like resin that comes out. It's related to, I want to say, oh, I don't actually know what it's related to now, to tell you the truth. But it's used a lot in India, and they'll have big chunks of it. It's very pure. Oh, it says stuff. It smells exactly like what they put in. It is what they put in mothballs. So it can be used to like keep bugs away or whatever. It also can be used to mitigate smells in the kitchen. It's also used for cooking. It does go in some dishes and things like that. But it burns very clean and it's a really lovely flame and it's a very pure essence. It smells like menthol kind of or eucalyptus or something like that. So you can imagine what it's like. And I'm going to start with that. Then once that burns out, and basically for that thing, it's first thing in the morning. All you really need to do is sit and stare. So if you have a nice flame, you can use a candle. This is basically just to purify the mind of all the junk and the weird dreams and the things that happened and the weird energy that's around you, and you're trying to wake up. If I were doing this and it was going to be like a full on session or whatever, I would shake out my limbs, shake out my body, I would stomp on the floor a little bit, bounce up and down and just wake up the body and all that kind of stuff because that's kind of how I roll. You don't want to sit there and you're like, and you do the thing and you just kind of like end up falling asleep in the middle of your meditation or something like that. You don't want to start, when you're so sleepy that there's going to be no quality to it whatsoever. However, the more that you do this kind of thing, the more that you'll find you'll easily get into a clear headed and meditative state first thing in the morning. Some people really like meditating first thing in the morning because there's not a lot of other stuff. You just feel like, okay, I'm already calm, I'm already relaxed, I just got out of bed. But for me, it's the mental torpor, that you really need to fight against when it comes to that kind of stuff or doing things first thing in the morning. So you just sit there and be like, no. So I have my cup of tea over here, and I fixed it, and I'm going to sip on it in between. Like I said before, if you want to, you can make it a part of the ritual or whatever. Make your tea or your coffee or something like that a type of sacrament, and bombard it with energy or whatever, and then take sips of it during the ritual. Probably not going to do that. Whew, excuse me. Yeah, apologize. That's what the Kleenex is for. All right, so moving on. So when I'm doing something with camphor, I really just like to start it like this. And this goes for any type of herb or plant that you're going to burn in that, in that way. You can do it with the incense too. This is more flame oriented, and so it's much funner to just stare at it and to breathe at it. And basically just know that your eyes are windows for energy to come in and also windows for energy to come out. So just stare at the beauty of the flame and imagine. Doesn't even have to be that meditative. You don't need all this prowess to do it. Just stare, imagine, or know know directly that you're allowing that energy, that flame, to burn all of the stuff away in your mind that you don't need. Okay? So obviously I have singing bowls around here. I'll probably start with that. Like the candles. What I'm doing here is I'm just focusing in the prayer position. I'm staring at the camphor or whatever it is that you're about to ignite, and I'm reciting my mantra internally. I'll do it vocally. Now, I could probably spend an entire hour, and I have, on mantra work and how to do mantra work properly, and also how to create your own mantras. It's obviously a mantra that I've created myself. You will never figure out the meaning. When I'm done with that, light the camphor. And just continue with that. Like, again, you don't have to use a mantra here if you don't want to. Just appreciate the fact that it's really pretty. Some people will scoop. If you're really sensitive, you can feel it. It starts to give you tingles in different places. I basically just like to work all the chakras all the way down. And of course, the intention really matters. If you're really intending to get that energy and pull it over here, and pull it over here, and pull it over here. Most people don't get this animated with it. It's just repeating something or saying a prayer. If you do prayer work, then you can do that at this point too. This is a good focus for that. For me, it's my mantras. Om Avaye Om. You could just use Om if you wanted to. Om Avaye Om. Om Avaye Om. Om Avaye Om. This is sacred oil. So I've just used a very pure type of oil as a base and put certain essential oils in it. I don't feel comfortable anointing myself after I've done some type of like etheric purification, so the sound and the smoke helps. Some people find it offensive to blow out candles and incense sticks, joss sticks. I don't necessarily. Usually I make an intention or do my mantra or something and then try to just be in that moment and then like the action is also a magical act. You know, the blowing out of the thing is also a magical act. In like Vedic traditions and stuff, they consider it offensive because it's like offensive to Vata or something. I don't know. But so this is a sacred oil, and I don't feel comfortable using it until I do something like that. And I'll put it on my palms to activate the palms, and then I'll get a little bit more. You can sacredly pick one finger to use. I don't know. The middle finger connects to the heart line meridian, so that's the one I usually use. Um, I do third eye, crown, and just kind of like put it in places that I want to. Part of the oil is the sacred properties of the plants. Part of the oil is also the experience of it. You know, you don't just light incense because it smells pretty. You light it because it actually has purifying properties of the woods and the plants that are contained within the incense. But you also do it because it smells good. And the reason that you want to do something like that is because it evokes a certain sense in you and gets you into a certain space. It's almost like how guys don't understand how lovely a nice bath can be because of stupid cultural reasons and toxic masculinity. But girls are like way into it. Usually, I'm just stereotyping basically, but like and go and have a beautiful salt bath and all of these amazing soaps and lotions and scents and things. You get out and you feel like a freaking queen. You feel like completely cleansed and washed free. Doing any of that kind of stuff, trying to get into a ritual bath before you do any type of ritual purification work or mantra work or just even sit down here to do what I'm doing now is Supremo Supremo. Like that can be the whole thing. You know, you can put the mantras into the water. I really got into that when I was up here at first. I don't have hot water right now, so it doesn't apply. But this is also your sacred oil. And of course, it has a various combination of different things. This has lavender and sweet orange and different things in it. And this is also what you use to uh, anoint your sacred instruments. So if you're going to do it with something like delicate, this is a fan that I use to call the four directions and the various guardians. I would do a sexy fan dance for you, but this is contained to this area, so I'm just going to do it the micro version. But what I'll do is I will put that oil on my hands. This is wood, and then I'll just rub it, you know, with intention. You're sort of like taking care of the object. And there are other things that like you don't want to just get a bunch of sticky oil on my crystal bowls. I don't want to do that, so I'll just put it on my hands first. This is a dry form of oil, and so it's not going to be really oily and gross anyway. But you'll find out, you know, how to do that stuff yourself. So, also don't be afraid of technology. Echo, play. So you can use this to spread incense and good energy and cut things and swish things away energetically, especially on the surface. It's really good for cleansing and banishing. Now I find that it's also, in some respects, it's a wand, you know, so you use it to direct energy. So I'll do it silently. I don't really have anything to say when I do the four direction stuff anymore. I typically just do it all on the inside, but I still move around my space when I'm doing it, you know? So this way to the north and do some stuff and bring it down and do some things to the east and do some stuff and bring it down. It's just, you follow your own natural flow with an instrument like this. You can use your wand instead and use that to just define the magical space around you. For me, it's also a picture of that green thing in front of the window, just basically the four directions, the four major elements that they have around them. Of course, the middle will be the earth element, which is the fifth, which is combining them all in the Taoist conception, and various holy energies coming in so that everything is purified in the space that may come into it, and anything that you call up will be in that purified space. So that when you do call anything up into that space, you're not going to get anything that you don't want in that space. So you're defining your own parameters for whatever you're going to do within that magical space, right? So for me, it'll just basically be Northern Spirit Warrior. I would move to the eastern section. That's my fairy fox. And how you move a fan or whatever, it's a common Taoist thing, but it's not common in Western magic really to have a fan, you know. So it's a different type of idea. You know, you're not just directing energy or whatever. You can use it to like make cuts and things like that. You can use it to draw your symbol. For me, it just always ends up being this like spirally, fluttery thing. Woo. And of course, when I'm doing this, I'm concentrating on the spirit that I'm invoking. You know, I'm talking to you guys in between because this is a demonstration, but it's just. Sometimes it'll change, you know. And I would do the same thing in this corner and that corner. Don't forget yourself. Of course, you can do the same thing with the sacred drum. Even just starting with that can be very powerful because this stuff clears everything out. Sound is very important, obviously. It can always be an interesting exercise to do mantra work or do some type of meditation or energy work or whatever it is you want or you feel you're going to do first. And then clear out your space real well. Then do it again. And you tell me how different it is. It will be. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Of course, the most important aspect of any of this work is the internal work. And so it is how you're doing your mantra internally, if you're going to do that. It is where your mind is going. That's the purpose of the flame and the just don't worry about the stuff at first, because usually most of us are like in the morning, or even if it's not in the morning, you're coming back from a long day at work or whatever, you're like, I gotta do something, you know? And then you find yourself thinking about office stuff, thinking about that stupid bitch who yelled at me, thinking about all this weird, or whatever, and you just need something easy, you know? I also do recommend exercising before any of this kind of stuff because Westerners need to get up and jump around and move. They can't really just like sit there and be calm all the time. And it's not just Westerners anymore, it's the modern world. Everybody's with the little beep 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 beeps. So, okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just some easy stuff to do, and I'm again, the important stuff is the internal thing. You don't need any external implements, and yet they all really make a huge difference, and they can reinforce each other so that I can do all this stuff and it can make my internal environment much more peaceful and focused so that I can do that kind of stuff without getting distracted. At the same time, the internal environment, if I were in one of those states and I decided I may not even need the external things, but again, using them and to have that meditative prowess and to be able to connect to something and to immediately go into samadhi with a flame, obviously, all of these things are going to be, your energy is connecting to them and then they connect back to you, and it just really increases the efficacy of any external implement: fan, oil, flame, fire, water, whatever. The one thing I didn't have here was cleansing water. I should have had a little bowl. You can either direct energy into it to cleanse things out, or after you said your mantras and your prayers and things and done whatever, then you can just take that water and cleanse yourself. You can even have like a cleansing cloth handy so that you can use that and just, lightly pad your face or whatever and back of your neck, things like that. You could even turn it into a whole sacred bath in your sacred space. You don't have to use like soap and water